Hey everybody. So, on top of Nikita Kucherov, we had another important signing yesterday. But before we get to that, if you are not yet a subscriber to this channel, please hit that subscribe button. If you're a fan of hockey in the NHL at all, there are videos here for you. Whether you only follow a certain team or if you follow the league as a whole, there's something here that you'll enjoy. So, please hit that subscribe button if you're not yet a subscriber. Now, argue, arguably the biggest free agent left on the market up until yesterday was Pat Maroon, and I definitely think he was the top free agent remaining, and he is no longer remaining. We've known that he wanted to go back to St. Louis for a while now, but the deal just was never announced. Time kept going and going and going, and there was no word of what was actually happening with Maroon. Well, he finally signed yesterday for 1 year at $1.75 million. Um, this contract is a lot less than I thought Maroon would get. Obviously, it's an absolute no-brainer for St. Louis to get this. Maroon is a guy that, when playing at a high level, can be a 20-goal scorer. Is very physical. Really a great power forward to have on your second or third line, and a really important player on a team. He showed 2 years ago in Edmonton that he can be a really important player and a really good player. For St. Louis to get him under $2 million a year is fantastic for them. For Pat Maroon, obviously this was all about going home. He wanted to play in St. Louis. This was his hometown team. This is where he wanted to be. So I think he had his sights set on St. Louis all the way. Once he became a free agent, he knew where he wanted to go. For St. Louis, again, this is a really good deal because Maroon is they've made so many moves this offseason. Obviously, they were very disappointed with not making the playoffs last year. They should have been a playoff team last year. Now they absolutely have to make the playoffs this year. With the adding Bozak, bringing back David Perron, now adding Pat Maroon, they've made so many changes that it really seems like they've gotten a lot better. There's absolutely no excuse for them to miss the playoffs again this year. St. Louis absolutely has to be a playoff team this season. So yeah, Maroon definitely makes them better and adds to that team. He can do a lot of different things and plays a really heavy Western Conference style of hockey, which will help St. Louis a lot because they're not an overly tough team. Maroon adds some grit and physicality to that team, certainly. This is a big year for Pat Maroon. Obviously, 2 seasons ago in Edmonton, he had a breakout season. He was a 20-goal scorer. He really burst onto the scene as like a viable second line guy. You didn't really expect that from him because when he came into the league, he was a fourth liner with Anaheim. He was basically a fighter when he came into the league. His offense has definitely grown since then, and he's gotten better and improved a lot. Now he's 30 years old, and last season was not very good. Everyone in Edmonton had a very rough year outside of Connor McDavid, and the beginning of last season wasn't great for Maroon, certainly, and wasn't even close to having the year that he had the year before. And then he got traded at the deadline to New Jersey, and he really didn't do a whole lot for New Jersey. Now, he was playing injured, and we know that now, and he certainly looked like he was playing injured. He had off-season surgery. But this is a big year for him because he's only on a 1-year deal. So if he goes into St. Louis and becomes a 20-goal scorer again, gets 50 points, gets 75 plus penalty minutes, and is a real force physically as well, and really contributes and adds to that team, he has a chance to really cash in next summer with a much bigger deal than this, both more money and longer term. But if he goes into St. Louis and has a year like he did last season, where he's just not that great of a player and really doesn't make that big of an impact, we're looking at him going back to maybe sticking around for a few more years as a third or fourth line guy and then being out of the league. And I really think that this is a huge year for him. And a lot of his future is going to be based on how he performs this season. He's 30 years old and he's on a 1 year deal. He's got a chance. If he scores 20 again, like he did 2 seasons ago, and really solidifies himself as a really good power forward and someone who can add some offense and physicality to a team, you're looking at him probably getting a 4 year deal next summer at probably around $4 million per year. If he stinks it up in St. Louis and only has like 12 goals and 30 points or something, then you're looking at him getting 1 year deals at around $1.5 million for the next couple of seasons, and then he'll be out of the league eventually. So I think it's a big year for Maroon. I think this was a no-brainer deal for St. Louis to get him at under $2 million, because he can absolutely have a huge impact if he plays to his potential. If he plays like he did last season, that would be bad for Maroon, but for St. Louis, what does it matter? It's only a 1 year deal and it's less than $2 million. It's not that big of a deal. So great deal for St. Louis. And Maroon has a very important year in his career ahead of him. This is kind of, I think, a make it or break it year for Maroon. Is he a fourth liner, or is he the 20 goal scorer we saw 2 seasons ago in Edmonton? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you like the contract? What kind of year do you think Pat Maroon's going to have? I'm optimistic that he's going to come back and have a really big year in St. Louis. St. Louis has a very talented team. They've gotten a lot better this offseason. I think he definitely has a chance to get to 20 goals again, and I certainly think he's going to have a big physical impact with that team. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. Check out offthewallhockey.com. All those links are in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.